Hey, what's up, friend? So today I'm getting into this partial retwist and 2-strand twist. I first started doing 2-strand twists on my locks when I was 1.5 years into the journey, and I haven't stopped since. This is the perfect style if you have any hair that grows away from your locks, if you have low density hair, if your hair seems to thin out at the roots, or if you just like the clean look in between retwists. So I already washed my hair the day before, so if you're starting on freshly washed hair, then you can skip this step. But since I was starting on dry hair, first I'm gonna get my rose water mixture and spray it throughout my head. I really like to make sure my locks are super wet, like dang near just been washed if I didn't just wash them. And don't mind that pimple, it's a paid actor at this point. Okay, so lift your locks up and spray all up and through there. Make sure each lock gets wet in its entirety. Also spray your roots if you're trying to mask a prolonged retwist. You'll see why later. You're gonna see me spending some quality time with my rose water during this part. Just because I really need to make sure my locks are saturated with water. It takes a ton of water knocking at my door for my locks to decide to go ahead and let it in. If these locks aren't saturated, then these 2-strand twists will come out looking more like a 1/2 strand twist once I unravel them. So here I am, just making sure the water got all up in my locks, making sure I don't feel any dry spots. Then you see me separating my parts, just making sure none of my roots are marrying together. And I do this throughout my whole head, gently snapping any roots that are trying to get a little too friendly. Then I get ready for the partial retwist around my perimeter. But first, you're going to need to know if you have an even or an odd number of locks. And if you don't already know, you can either count them ahead of time or just find out at the end of retwisting your 2-strand twist like I did the first time I tried this style. If you already know you have an odd number of locks like I do, you're going to want to save 3 locks that are around the same size, and these are going to be the siblings that get twisted together. But first, let's just focus on the 2-strand twist. When choosing locks to twist together, I always like to find locks that are around the same size and thickness. I find that this makes them crinkle better when I unravel them later. If I twist a skinny lock with a thicker lock, when I unravel them for my twist out, the skinny lock is always crinkled to perfection, and the thick lock looks like it was on a 2-strand twist struggle bus. I usually do a partial retwist every 4 weeks because I have low density edges and they tend to thin out if I wait too long in between retwists. I also have hair that sometimes grows away from my locks, so I like to retwist those more frequently than I retwist the rest of my head so that the hair can have a better chance of growing into the lock. Once I have the locks I'm about to twist, I squeeze a little oil, like 1/4 to 1/2 dropper full if you have a dropper, on my roots and massage it in. Then I grab an elastic band. I put it in my mouth just to have it readily available. And now with these 2 locks that I'm going to twist together in close reach, I grab one and start retwisting it clockwise. Then I hold that one and I grab the other lock and start retwisting that one clockwise. I usually rotate my locks 2 times when I'm retwisting. I know some folk might be twisting their lock in different directions, and listen, I don't believe there is a right or wrong way to do anything in life, okay? But in my research, I just found that our hair grows in a certain direction, and that's why it's advised to retwist clockwise or to the right. Once I'm done retwisting both locks, I then 2-strand twist them around each other counterclockwise in the opposite direction that I retwisted them in. If you retwist and 2-strand twist in the quote-unquote wrong direction, it's okay, don't worry, because your hair will tell you by unraveling anyway. Once I get to the end of my 2-strand, I just flip up the bottom and put the elastic band on. Bloom, bam, bloom, bam. So yeah, I just retwist 2 times to the right, then 2-strand twist to the left, back it up. Then jump. So this is for all my friends that have an odd number of locks. If you have an uneven number of locks, you're going to want to check out how I do this. So as I said in the beginning, I strategically make sure that I save 3 skinny locks for this process because the smaller they are, the easier they'll be to maintain the 2-strand pattern when we do the twist out. Then, out of the 3 locks that I have, I take the smallest 2 and put them together side by side. And then I just start 2-strand twisting the free lock around the 2 locks that are together as if I'm twisting 2 locks like normal. Once you reach the bottom of your lock, you just fold it up and put an elastic band on the end like the rest. And as you can see, you can't really tell there are 3 locks up in that thing. It just looks like the others. Now in this case, you can see that one lock is longer than the other, so it has some hang time just dangling by itself. When this happens, I just wrap the shortest lock around as much as possible, then flip the hang time up so that it'll have a little bend in it, and put the elastic band around that. Don't mind these faces I'm making. I'm just trying to figure out which locks I want to twist together. Like I said, I like them to be around the same size, and I want the parts to be side by side. If it ever looks like I'm pulling my hair tight, I swear I'm not. I just have low density hair over here, so these little 10 strands are working for their life, okay? Also, once the 2-strand twist is complete, it's going to untwist a little in the opposite direction on its own, resulting in less tension. You see me really palm rolling the shaft of my lock right here. That's because an area was feeling a little flat, so I like to palm roll it while my lock is wet to get it a little more rounded out. I think, and this is just my own personal theory, but I think because I don't palm roll my locks so often, some of them get misshapen over time, but when I notice it, I just palm roll it real good, and it tends to round my lock back out after a bit of attention. So like right here, these little hairs are trying to play me and grow away from my lock. So I'm gonna lightly retwist this one and get the hairs to try to lock back up in there. So now after I'm finished retwisting my perimeter, I just go in and 2-strand twist the remaining locks. And we're done. This is the back. As you can see, the 2-strand twists that weren't retwisted are blending in with the retwist around the perimeter so nicely. Gives the illusion that my whole head has been retwisted. So like I was saying earlier about prolonging your retwist and how to hide it, you can imagine how good a 2-strand twist looks in between retwists. And that's it. I usually keep these in for a week or so, then I untwist and rock the twist out look for a while. Keep an eye out for the twist out reveal in my next one. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.